Sporting. PSG knew that they would have to play a full 90. Most teams by now know that, yeah, it may look grim, it may look poor early, but just keep at it. Someone's going to run out of gas in that midfield. And PSG, Enrique, I think he put together a very good game. He made it a long 90 minutes. And to lose 4-2 after being 2 goals up does not leave me or many City fans with confidence. Nah, there isn't much confidence happening right here. And I'm going to say, before I bring my guest in after this segment here, I'm going to say that PSG are better than what their record says. PSG and the players that they have are better than what we're seeing. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing so many people in the mix. Thank you so much for joining the show. Good looking out. If you haven't hit that like button, if you're new, subscribe. Hey, I'm the only one that calls you Haas. I'm the only one. I see you back in the building. Bro, you are such a front runner. What do you mean? I ain't no. Stop this. Still hitting it. I appreciate it. Thank you for hitting that like button. The problem with us and this PSG game is that it didn't reveal anything new, but it was so much of a reminder of what's wrong with us. And now I got to go into this Chelsea game. Now I got to go into the gauntlet of fixtures. It's a mad one. It is an absolute mad one. I'm going to bring my guests shortly. And again, in the comments, know this. If you're respectful, I'm going to read your comment. If you're out of line, then it's going to get ignored. This guest that I'm going to bring to the show, to say that we agree on many things would be a lie. To say that we have opposing philosophies would be the truth. To say that we have different levels of tolerance for poor play amongst our team or manager would be accurate as well. So I'm really looking forward to the convo because so much is happening. So much drama is happening for each of our clubs. And again, we're supposed to be brothers. That's why I had this thumbnail, Blue Brothers. But I had to point out that we're fighting. We're fighting for top 4, and we've been fighting for a while. I for one, have tried to move like Blue Brothers. Shout out to my man Lewis, because every time we seem to feature on similar shows, we are Blue Brothered up. But whenever I'm linking up with RSM, that bum, Ahmed, Chelsea fan, that bum, and I'm going to say it to his face as well as while he's backstage, and Casual FC, that bum, we always seem to be fighting. We're Blue Brothers, but those three, we're always fighting. So let me bring him to the stage. If you haven't subscribed to his channel details are in the description. He's added in the title as well. Please make him feel welcome. Let him know in the comments. But thank you for joining the show today. Casual FC, better known as
Mixed crowd reaction there.
So. Mixed crowd reaction.
Yeah.
All right. I think most of the people are happy to see you. Most of the people.
You ever wonder that maybe we're not those Blue Brothers because you keep calling us bums? You ever think of that one, Vader? It's not very nice to call your brother a bum.
We were brothers until you started fighting, man. I don't know what it is with you. But thanks so much for being on the show. I hope that what we were trying to do backstage, all that kind of linked up.
No, it worked out. All right, awesome. On my platform, so big up to everyone watching from Casually FC. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out Vader Games TV as well. And big up to everyone in Vader Games TV. Respect to every single one of you. I'm sorry about your capitulation in the Champions League, but
are you really sorry?
Well, I don't know what position I want to be in right now. Do I want to have capitulated the Champions League but actually be in the competition to begin with? Or do I want to be linked with Alejandro Garnacho? I don't know.
You know what? Yeah. We're gonna get into that. As you can see, I got a few things to discuss. How the show flows all depends. But I think it's a third topic, because obviously I want to talk about my signings, right? I know that you've got some potential signings that we're going to want to discuss.
Right.
So, have you been up to speed? Have you heard about the city signings? You know what's going down?
Um, as far as I'm aware, Marmouche is through the door. I think the what's his
The
name?
two
Kavan. I can't remember
Casanov
his name. Kasanov. He's
or
also through the
Kosanov, yeah.
door. There's a young center back from Sporting, not Sporting. Palmeiras, not Palmeiras. What team is it? The Brazilian team. I can't remember.
No, I thought it was Palmeiras.
Is
Was
it
it not?
Palmeiras? Yeah,
Yeah,
it is Palmeiras then. I don't know if he's through the door yet, but you guys are pretty much almost
he's through the
set
door.
with
We've
him.
got three signings, all locked up. Two center
Hmm.
backs, young, very young in age.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to admit. I know that some of you Chelsea fans don't like youthful signings. I heard you kind of criticizing. You don't want a daycare. You want impact. But I think we've
Some
taken
of
a
us.
different approach.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of you. Yeah, I'm not going to put that all on you. But we've got young signings defensively.
Yes.
Young signings defensively. And when you look at the age of our defense, it makes sense, right? Now,
Hmm.
some City fans are like, no, we need to fix things right now. Like, who's going to be good enough to hit the ground running?
Hmm.
Surprisingly, I think Pep might be trusting these signings, 18, 19-year-olds, defensively to come through the mix because no, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna be honest with you because he's not gonna throw them without any help. He's gonna have them partnered up with what I would hope, and we'll get into it. But I think he'd partner them up with the experience of an Akanji, partner them up with the experience of a Ruben Diaz, and kind of make life a little easier defensively. But that's in defense. Now,
Hmm.
every City fan are crying, whining, complaining. Where's my DM? Where's my DM? I see you making signings. Where's my DM? Okay, I think the club is working on it. I think the board's working on it, but a couple deals were able to get done sooner. And I'm not going to fault. I'm not going to fault Tiki. I'm not going to fault anyone to be able to get those deals done. Now, you got the defensive players kind of locked up. You got an attacking player in Mamouche. I'm sure you've heard. I'm sure you kind of seen things on the timeline. A lot of City fans are like, "Woo, we got one!" All right. Shout out to Professor Hamza. He went out and got the jersey with the number even before the player was signed. Number 7, Mamouche is in the building. His versatility is great. His addition to us is key with the Julian Alvarez, which you and many of my blue brothers challenged me on. Like, why are you letting that player go and not replacing him? Very difficult to replace Julian Alvarez in the same window, but it looks like they were constantly looking to get him in the mix. And Omar,
Yeah. Also,
I
the
think,
striking market is so poor.
yeah, it's poor, and it's also, you know what? It's poor only if you're not going to flex. If you're not going
Mm.
to flex and spend, then you can actually
Hmm.
get some quality out there. But I think there is a
Yeah.
reluctancy for clubs to be throwing down the money for the quality of
I
strikers that they
mean,
can get. But
PSR, and you look at the economy and how it is in terms of like just how expensive these players are and the amount of money you're asking for contracts. Like,
yeah,
look at how, like, the Neymar contracts out there, the Holland contracts before you guys sign. Like, the prices out there are outrageous. I think, what was it? Who was just touted for 150 mil? Oh, Isak, 150
yeah,
million pounds for Isak. That's insane.
yeah. Is it?
A little bit because of how injury prone he is.
Yes, yes, it is. However, when you know of the limited numbers of prolific strikers right now, he's
Which is
like
why the
he's
price
a
is
rarity.
inflated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
So I get that. Now, I got the 3 signings. My fan base is still demanding more. They want that defensive midfielder. I'm sure you get the same thing. You probably hear it amongst your Chelsea fan base, like, "Where are my signings? We have issues at defense. We have issues in."
Bro, bro,
We'll get into it. We
we
get into it.
we invented complaining during transfer windows. We made it trendy.
Yeah. Yeah, you did make transfer windows hot because it was like, oh, when the alert right? When the transfer alert would go through, it's like, oh damn, Chelsea's in for another
Who we
one.
signed this time? Yeah, no.
Chelsea's in for another one. So
The dopamine not hitting the same anymore, man.
nah, but I mean, you guys.
We'll
I think
discuss.
you guys
We'll
are about
discuss.
you guys are about to do something crazy. Now, I mentioned 3 signings over here.
Yeah.
I want to ask you because I mean the rumor mill is wilding out. It's wilding out. And I want to ask you as I move the timer to discuss Chelsea new signings. What do you want to tell me? What do you want to tell me with regards to Chelsea new signings?
Vader game.
Bro, I think
Talk to me, man.
in terms of this window, we recalled Chalaba. Pie in the face for that one.
Wait. Why? No, but you need that. Is it?
We did, but okay. The long and short of it is that the owners wanted to sell him for pure profit. So they iced him out of the team.
Yeah, I remember that.
Gave his number away.
Yeah.
And forced him to make a move.
Were you in favor of that? Were you like, yeah, Chelsea, that's how we get. Okay.
No, because his situation I was in favor of it for a Conor Gallagher, right?
Okay.
Because he had a year left on his contract. You let that run down. He goes on a free, doesn't benefit the club. Chalaba had 7 years on his contract. There was no reason to do that to him. He had signed. He had this kid has been nothing but supportive of the club and wanted nothing but to succeed at the club. And when he returned from his injury, which lasted for 2/3 of the season last season, he did put on some good performances, played well, and you know, people, including myself, were chalking it up to, okay, well, let's see how he performs for a full season, not just when things were, you know, bright and sunny over at, you know, at Chelsea HQ. But then he was forced out of the club. Yeah. Now we're in dire need of a center back because we have center backs falling. Well, our key center back, Fofana, is injured for what could potentially be the rest of the season. The 2 other center backs we recruited were not good enough. Our other center back is inexperienced. Reece James.
Sorry, when you say not good enough, they're just not showing it right now, or do you still have confidence that they can become?
Tosin Adarabioyo, who's the experience head, has not been good enough to be a reliable center back in this system. And Disasi, Badiashile is another one too that was injured, but he was on and off. He was 50-50. Disasi, not reliable at all. We've seen last year he wasn't like the levels. He could stay fit. He can do a job, but that's about it. And he wasn't outstanding. He was susceptible to mistakes. He's been played at right back a lot this season as well, which is not his position. Doesn't defend wide. But so we were in need of recalling him back because we need something. Even the last game, Levi Colwell. Yeah, Levi Colwell was not fit for the game. So we needed coverage, and he came in. And despite everything that happened, despite being ousted the way he was, swallowed his pride, took it professionally, came back to the team, and if all goes well, maybe by the end of the season, our owners change their mind and he stays. That's one signing, quote unquote. Other than that, there have been 2 signings, both of which are youngsters. One from Kazakhstan.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
And I think that's for Strasbourg. And another for Strasbourg, I think, again, in a Fofana character. I don't know his full name. This is all news that kind of broke out recently, and I haven't done my research.
It's hard to keep up with Chelsea signings, man.
It's not. That's
the problem.
It is. Not this window. It's not. Like, literally, we have not signed anyone. We've recalled one player. We're very interested in Garnacho, which, if that happens, Vader, it was nice knowing you.
No, don't do that.
I am done as a Chelsea content creator for the rest of the season.
You're overreacting. Why are you being so dramatic? Why are you here?
I really don't want this player. I don't think he's that bad. But you know what it is, Vader? And I realized this earlier, before I came on today. Yeah. And I'm glad I'm not the only one that feels this way in the Chelsea fan base. But genuinely, this window has been ruined by my sporting directors, but also by the Chelsea fan base just being so over the top about everything. It makes it
But that's
not fun.
but but hold on,
They're
hold on. Hold on.
worse now than they
You're
ever
acting
were.
like your Chelsea fan base aren't over the top regularly.
No, this time it's got an extra bit of spice, bro. I'm just saying, like, you know how when you go to Taco Bell and you get when you get your sauces, you get like, you know, different. You go
Okay, yeah,
mild, medium,
yeah.
hot, and then like over the top. It's like Chelsea usually run on that mild or medium, right?
Yeah,
And
okay.
then when you get the actual topping, or when you get your actual burrito or taco, whatever you prefer, your cheesy gordita crunch, you accidentally grab the spicy, and oh my god, it's one of the worst meals you ever had. So that's kind of where I'm at with
That's where the
Chelsea.
fan
Like
base. So the fan base
the
are
the
wilding out.
the fan base is wiling out. Like I've never seen the fan base unite against a signing more in my life than I have when it comes to Alejandro Garnacho.
I think the reason for it is because you guys have mostly been on the selling end of players,
Which we
and you
have sort of
yeah,
been. We're
and
we're rumored to sell a lot of players more than
but even in the past, you would sell players, you would give Arsenal the business with Kai Havertz, right? You would constantly remind them, like, "Hey, this is a purple patch or whatever you're enjoying right now. Just wait for
I
it." You
feel
would
like
give them.
you're alluding that this is karma. I feel like you're alluding that this is karma.
I'm just
You're
no,
not a good friend.
no, I'm not doing that. I am a good friend. I'm a very good friend. I'm not about to do that. It's a karma thing, but I'm gonna say you guys would lean into that. You know that. Come on, Marshall. You know you made TJ. You reminded TJ of that transfer all the time. And
Hmm.
any Arsenal fan you were talking to, you're like, Kai Havertz, don't put any trust in him.
Yeah.
You would also do the same thing. You would also do the same thing of reminding with regards to Sterling, which is also at Arsenal, right? Talking about how poor he's been.
Hmm.
I think he only spent 1 year for you guys. Um, and then you put him out on loan. So I'm not saying it's a karma thing, but I think you don't want that energy back. Not that it's a karma thing, but you don't want United fans giving you the business of a Ganacho. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
I think in
I like
terms
to
of like
dish it, but I can't take it. You know what I'm
exactly, yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And in terms of like, I don't know what the price tag right now is with
For
regards to him.
Garnacho,
Yeah,
bro, United wants 70 million euros.
they ain't getting 70 million. They
They
ain't.
want 70
They're
million.
not
They
getting
want
70
70.
million.
Napoli, apparently Napoli offered 50 million euros, and United turned it down,
Yeah, and I think the latest I
which is
saw was Napoli
crazy.
Napoli pulling out of it. Like they're not even like
Yeah, because apparently they're gonna try to negotiate for Adeyemi, which leaves us like United were focused on Napoli, and then when
yeah.
Napoli left the party, and there's only one person left to talk to, Chelsea was that one person left. We were just minding our own business by the Kool-Aid and the fruit punch, just trying to fill up the cup, and all of a sudden, this loser at the party comes over and tries to talk to me about, yo. You willing to take on my homie like Garnacho? Like,
Uh,
bro, no, I didn't even want to talk to you. I'm here with the DJ.
50 euros?
50
That's a
million
good analogy.
euros, and they turned it down. So they want, and apparently Chelsea are entertaining it. And I'm just like, why? Why are we doing this? Why are
Oh,
we
oh my
entertaining this?
gosh.
They're
Oh my
very much entertaining it. These last few weeks, and this is why like the fan base kind of ruined it for me, because these last few weeks, all it's been is Chelsea have inquired, Chelsea
yeah.
have asked about, Chelsea
Yeah.
are preparing a bid, Chelsea are ready to approach, Chelsea have spoken to the agents,
All
Chelsea
right,
have
okay, hold on.
written an article, Chelsea wrote a poem,
How
Chelsea
your
prepared
fan
a
base
haiku.
react how your fan base react to all of the
It's
rumors or the whispers.
crazy. I
Yeah,
hate it.
no,
It's not
you
a
gotta
bid. Even till this day, I don't think I've seen, even till now, I don't think I've seen an actual official bid be placed. Just that there's
no,
a rumor that a bid is going to be placed.
it's who's speaking about the rumors, right? That's
Fabrizio and all
that's
them.
that's the
Ornstein
thing
hasn't
that
said
sucks.
anything yet.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So there's hope there, but I wanna say this.
Yeah.
He's not if he were to be signed, he's not signed as to use how we speak like North American wise. He's not going to be a franchise player. He's not going to be a key. He's not going to be a key starter. This is another player of depth, which you
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
tend to do, whether he's going to be on the, the B squad that's going to be playing in your European Cups, or he's going to be a key for Prem. But I think he's too young to be written off. He's too young of a player to be like, this is what he is. He's not going to get any better. He's not going to be of service. Like,
do you want my honest take on this?
Absolutely.
And don't give me,
hey, if you've been giving me your non-honest take, then
no. I've been honest, and I've just been sarcastic about the situation. Like, at the end of the day, I genuinely don't want Garnacho, but here's the thing, and this is why I'm different, and this is why I'm different than other Chelsea fans. By the way,
yeah.
Vader, I've been hearing you throwing some jabs out at me, and I'm like, hey, don't lump me in with the rest of these guys.
No,
I'm the unicorn in the mix.
No, don't. Now you're going too far. See, now how you're.
No, but I am.
Going too far.
But I am.
All right, let me hear
when you look at me, that's the Chelsea fan I am. But
all right, let me hear it.
In terms of Garnacho, the two biggest things that I'm against in terms of this signing, well, three really. There's three things. One, I have not been convinced by the performances in terms of like. He's not a good finisher, right? Like you've seen some of the goals he's missed, and he doesn't wash himself in glory, right?
That's true.
So there's that.
Although it is very hard to name prolific wing players.
Yes, the left wing is tough, but there are players that can give me a little more, like a Jeremy Gittins, right? That we're linked to as well, but not much has been going on that front versus a Garnacho, for example. I also say that because the price tag. I know I'm not paying it, but it only me not paying it only matters when it's a player you don't like versus when it's a player you do like, right? So that's the only time the price matters.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this player, based off what I just said, right, in terms of the performances not being convincing, do I think this guy is a 55 or 60 million? Euros? Let's just say Man United's price, 70 million euro price player.
Yeah.
No, I really don't think so. No. I really don't think so. And then the last thing, and this has always been a big gripe for me in terms of players in general, I've always been an advocate of, if you want to be at Chelsea, by all means, the door is open. Come in. If you're good enough, you play. But if you are twerking for another club and you want to use Chelsea for a stepping stone, and that's your plan the whole time, very much like Lukaku did, very much like how Courtois played us, like I do like a level of loyalty to the club. And for me, Garnacho has a really, really stinky attitude. No, but Vader.
Okay,
listen, the reason I say this too, right? Because we were just talking about it in my stream before I came here.
Shout out to your stream. Those of you on Vader Games TV, please make sure that the details are in the description. It's in the title of this video. Subscribe.
Vader, you can agree with me on this one. Your chat can agree with me on this one. And my chat, big up to my chat. Smash up the likes if you haven't done so already. And smash up the likes if you're on Vader Games as well. One thing all of us can agree with is that Garnacho's attitude stinks. If this player were to come to Chelsea, his mentality, his attitude will not last. The fact that this player is already so hated in the United fan base, and he's clapping back with his brothers and reacting to socials and doing all this and saying he's being bullied and all this and that. Bro, he's not even at Chelsea, and 95% of my fan base do not want him. Imagine if he were to come, how toxic that'll get. He won't last. He'll get eaten up.
I hear that.
Pause.
I hear that. I think his attitude, again, he's a young player, so I think his attitude needs to get corrected. I think for how he reacted to like that whole fan reaction, to even think that there were some players that were crying after the Amarin, dressing down. I wouldn't be surprised if he was one of them. But he's joining Chelsea with the likes of a Sancho, former United player, a little bit ostracized from the fan base and the manager at the time. The fact that Garnacho, he's going to have a chip on his shoulder to want to prove something, right? He's going to remain in the Prem. That I've seen that leveraged by many players where they're like, they remain in the league and they see the team that they're going to face. he's going to be a squad player for you guys. So I don't think it would be that damaging. I think Maresca could actually kind of like bring him into the fold and not have to play him heavily. So I think it's so much more of the banter that you guys don't want. And I see it in your chat. It was mentioned like the whole reminding United fans about Mason Mount. Like this is gonna kind of squash that a little bit. It's gonna be like even Steven now because they'll talk to you about Garnacho, you'll talk to them about Mason Mount. So I think it's one of those. Yeah, unfortunately. Now I'm going to be paying very close attention. I'm sure you will be because you don't want it to happen.
By the
But
way, I only posted cons. I meant to just briefly go over the pros on Garnacho.
That is very balanced of you. You've changed in 2025, may I say?
Shut up, Vader! I've always been this way.
No,
you always tell me I'm negative. Like you, I forget what stream it was, but I think it was actually the beginning of American Waffle, and I wasn't even there for the beginning. I showed up afterwards. You were saying how I was ready to crash out on the manager and manager out. No, dude, I'm still very much Maresca in. It's always been the performances on the pitch.
Hold on, keywords.
Very much.
Maresca.
Yes, very much Maresca in.
Okay.
He does frustrate me. There are some things that frustrate me about him, but my man's been in top 4. The performances are there, just the results haven't. But in terms of Garnacho, right? I do think there is a player there. Like I do think that there is potential for something, right? Like he does make runs. People seem to forget, like if you take the Man United out of Garnacho, then who knows what could happen? Like he could actually be a decent player. Like everyone in United's team are heavily weighed by the United tax. We're seeing how Scott McTominay, who no one rated, all of a sudden is balling out at Napoli, about to win the Scudetto, or is he at least challenging for the Scudetto over there? Fred over there in Fenerbahce, he's balling out. Like these guys seem to leave United and they flourish. So I don't think Garnacho's any different. I do think the finishing isn't there, but in terms of like he can make chances, he can make runs. Like even the other week, I saw him make a fucking clear, and pardon my language, but I saw him make a clear goal scoring opportunity for Anthony, and Anthony misses it on the goal line. Like that's not on Garnacho. That's on how bad the rest of the team is, you know? So it's like there is a good player there. Like I do see the potential. Just I don't like the price. I don't like the attitude, and I don't like the players where he's at right now in terms of his development overall.
Right. Okay, I'll accept the balance. I'll accept the negatives and the positives coming from you. It's actually refreshing. It's refreshing because usually, you know what? Sometimes, in all fairness, when we're on American Waffle, sometimes because of how the conversation goes, we're only able to get out certain things. So maybe the negatives is sometimes why what you're able to say.
Pochettino made me a very negative person, bro.
Pochettino.
I am not a clown.
We got to be careful. Hopefully, there's not going to be a reason to say, you know, justice for Poch. But
oh god,
we'll wait whether that happens or not. Now I'm gonna move this on because we definitely need to talk preview. And I'm gonna try to do this as cleanly as possible. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try and do this as well. Vader game. Now I'm gonna make this large screen and then I'm bring it back to normal so everyone can see this. But we're gonna discuss for 5 minutes the City versus Chelsea preview. And we played at the beginning of the season, first game of the season. I think I've heard you often say like you wish you would have played City a little later in the year because you would have been in better form. We would have been in weaker form. Punk way to do it, but you wanted that taste.
I don't think I even said that you would have been a weaker form, but sure, yeah.
You implied it. You would have rather
the gaslighting again, ladies.
You implied it. You would have rather.
No, I didn't imply it.
Oh, okay. So
I mean, sure, yeah. I mean, in a logical world, yeah, you're not wrong, but I don't think I said that.
All right, when we were hovering around top of the league, that's not when you would have wanted to play us.
Sure,
but we've got this game coming up. You obviously saw weaknesses in the PSG game, or am I right to say that you saw some of the Champions League game?
Stay humble, eh?
All right. So you saw the 2-up to 4-2 loss.
I haven't even seen the goals. I just know what happened. That's it.
Okay.
No, unfortunately, I just haven't had time to watch Champions League.
All good.
I watch round 16 and all that stuff. If you guys make it,
I only watch my games, and sometimes obviously we got a chance to record games as well, so I'll try and go back and fast forward through. But this preview, the form that we're in, I'm going to first speak of my club because we just had the Champions League. You didn't see the game, but we are just as inconsistent as we've been for the majority of the season. Yeah, we get some favorable results. What we did in the FA Cup, what we were able to do against Ipswich, scoring some goals. But when it's like a quality squad on the other side of us, it's long. It's a full 90-minute game where every City fan are like, hold on, and try to see this game through. Clean sheets are almost impossible for us. Closing out the games is going to be a difficulty. I'm looking at what we're weak at. I'm looking at what you're strong at, and it's a recipe for disaster. The only thing that I'm kind of leaning on, and that's why I wanted to speak earlier about the signings, is I think Pep might inject some like fresh energy, some players that will have something to prove, and maybe as a squad we're all going to play up for it. But the signings aren't in the midfield, and the midfield is where it's most concerning. I'll tell you this real quick.
Okay.
If we have our whatever Pep decides to do with his back four, we'll see. I'm confident that it's going to consist of maybe Akanji and Diaz, and maybe he'll have Gavardiol and a new signing, Kosanov. If he goes midfield, I would expect Kovacic having that key defensive role, but then I would also.
Is Marmoush a midfielder?
Mamouche can play 10.
Okay,
he can play off the striker, but like, yeah, if I were to say anything, if we do the traditional 4-4-3, right, and obviously the midfield can be whatever, I don't want to see Mamouche start. I don't want to put that pressure on a player. There's so much excitement around him, but I would want to see Kova. I would want to see, as I know City fans, I know you've been criticizing him. I know he had a poor game. He had a poor game in Champions League, Bernardo Silva, but I would want to see Bernardo Silva, Kova, and KDB.
I did see him get megged. I did see that.
Of course he did. Yeah, of course he did.
Yeah.
He did of everything you saw. Yeah. But I would want that to be the midfield, and I would want that to be the midfield for like 60 minutes max. And I would want my attacking three to consist of Doku's supposed to be 25%, but I would be okay with Savinho, Holland, and Foden in terms of my front three. And I think we can handle business. I think we can do what we need at home. My question to you is, who's available for your midfield first and foremost, and then we'll talk beyond that.
Caicedo.
Is he the only one? So it's the rumors about Enzo, the rumors about Lavia, they're out.
They're true. There's a very slim chance that maybe Enzo might be available for Saturday. It was rumored that he'd be out for about 2 weeks with whatever injury he has. That's the bad thing about Maresca and this season and this team right now, is that we don't have as detailed of an injury report like we did last season under Poch. I'll give Poch that. But
you'll give Poch that.
I don't know. Enzo might be rushed. He might be available. I genuinely just don't know. I know Caicedo is available, although we did have a little bit of a scare in terms of last game.
What kept Enzo out? What was the injury? Do you know?
If it was Poch, I would tell you, but it's not.
Okay.
We don't know. They're being very vague about it. In terms of Lavia, it's probably another hamstring issue, to be honest with you. He's out for about a month. We really, that's why there's been this whole recalling Andre Santos or recalling Leslie Ugochukwu thing going on, that we need another midfielder to come in, but then you face the problem of what happens when Enzo's fit. Then that midfielder was going from starting minutes over at wherever loan they were at to now bench minutes. So it stints the growth, and I get that. But this club, if Caicedo were to fall, then we are absolutely effed in terms of depth. We don't. KDH is not a pivot player. Renato Vega, we just loaned out to Juve, and he was supposed to be like an inverting role. Okay. Cucurella has been forced to play in the midfield as like an attacking.
He's been playing well. I can't lie.
He's been doing the job. You know, that's what good players do, right? They put on a shift no matter where you play them, and that's why I don't like this excuse of like, oh, he's playing out of position. Like, no, if you're a good player, you'll play well. But Cucurella's been like the last game against Wolves. Cucurella did more of like a box crashing kind of role, attacking 8, while Caicedo was just chilling in the back, making sure nothing got past him. So in terms of the midfield, like it's looking thin.
Okay,
might just be Caicedo and Cucurella if things go the way I think. Yeah. And obviously Palmer in the 10.
Palmer is going to be a problem. Absolutely. Now, what would you estimate or guess to be your front 3? Jackson and who's up?
The front 3, I have a feeling you play Vardiol at left, right?
Yeah.
And then right back, I'm assuming stubborn Pep is going to continue going with
he might play Rico,
Nunes.
but I think I think he'll play Akanji.
Wow. Okay. I think if I were Maresca, I would use my pacey players against you guys in that situation, and probably stick with a Nani on the right and a Neto on the left, and have Jackson up front, because Jackson, another one that he's really our only option in the attack in terms of a striker, and Kuku's not been fulfilling that role at all.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. Now, we both have concerns defensively.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about bringing players back, egg on your face with having to, bring certain.
Yeah, finish what you're saying, because I kind of disagree with the defensive solidity now.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know what Pep's gonna do. We've got the new signings. We've got him maybe bring some new players in with the old, but I think whatever he does, I'm actually going to be pretty chill with. The only time I'm really stressed was when Pep would have to change what's happening in the midfield, bring on a Gundogan, or I would also be stressed when Pep would have to bring on a Walker, just knowing that Walker wasn't up for it anymore. He wasn't at that level. So those were the concerns. Walker's obviously transfer-wise, wish him all the best at AC Milan. And
wait, I meant to ask, is that a permanent or is he on loan?
No, it's on. He's on loan because there's no buy. But I don't think he's gonna be a part of the club.
No, it's funny. I was thinking about your club earlier today because obviously we have this preview, and I was gonna say, like, if they just up and sold Walker, that's so disrespectful to Walker. Like, he at least deserves like a standing ovation at the end of the season.
He deserves a proper send off.
Yeah. He's essentially, I would think you would agree, he's a Man City legend.
Yeah. He's delivered. He is like, again, shout out to United Spurs of America. Jacob hates this, but Walker since leaving there, I'm just saying, he left there. I think I think he left there age 27. No trophies. 7 years later, he's got like 17. And he was important. He was key to those trophies. I know he's not at the races now, but and that's only like 2 years now. Like, the last 2 years have been rough for him, coming off injury and things like that. Before that, it was locked down. It was discussed on whether it was him or Trent in terms of who's the best right back in the league. And obviously Trent got all the talk because of what he did offensively, but defensively, Walker was the guy. And I was always quick to be like, all you rivals that want to point out, oh, take away his pace. Well, take away the attacker's pace. Because do you think he's chasing down these attackers because they happen to just be positionally good. No, they got there because of their pace, and he's got to chase them down. So
I hate when people do that.
yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts.
It's like, take away his penalties. Like, what do you mean? Just the penalty. You got to score penalties. Penalties aren't easy.
Not at all.
Stuff like that. When it comes to attackers. Yeah,
those type of frame conversations are wild.
Yeah.
Walker's been amazing, and he does deserve a proper send up. I think if it were a case where like any club said we want to buy him outright, we value him this much, then the club would have preemptively done. They do some behind the scenes. They do a huge announcement. Like there would have been a farewell. But he's out the door. But now when I think defensively, if we go Akanji, or let's say Pep does Nunes, but if we do that at right back, we then has Kostanov, new signing, Diaz as our leader, probably as our captain to lead things, and then Evan Gavardio. I'm calm with that back line. I'm calm with that defensively. My only concerns are in the midfield, and then I don't know how you guys would set up, but it's going to be a scoring fest. I know we kind of discussed what we thought our best 11s were, so I'm going to move on conversation-wise. But it is going to be a scoring fest, in my opinion. I think it's going to be up and down, and it's going to be whoever's most clinical, because I think we're both going to get chances.
So I think I disagree with that. I think that in terms of our defense, it fits what I think it's going to be. Levi Colwell, Chalobah, and Reece James as the three in the center backs. I think that's enough to keep you guys quiet. Because Chalobah against Wolves, man of the match performance, he put on a clinic, an absolute clinic in terms of defensively. Levi Colwell this season has been our best defender and most consistent defender, and Reece James is Reece James. He's just class. And he's been playing this different role. He might be asked to invert as well. I don't know, but he is a.
So yeah, that's your back.
You shrug him off, but when you play him.
No,
when Haaland's quiet, just remember it's because you're very familiar with Reece James. By the way, you should know how quiet Raheem Sterling was against a certain Mr. Reece James in 2022. In
3 years is a lot of time. 3 years is a lot of time.
Yeah.
3 years under Tuchel as well. Very different. But he's back healthy at the wrong time.
Still a good player.
I hate that he's returned.
Because
he is that good. But if
we have that defense, by the way, that's a pretty strong defense. If we can keep that defense healthy, we can start keeping some more clean sheets. And
I'm watching that defense, and I'm going to see how well you guys are reading it. How well you guys are reading, because again, are you going to let? Because I'm seeing this a lot more from Haaland. Are you going to follow Haaland, or are you going to let him kind of get into play? Because if he's going to,
that's an interesting question.
Because
the last match it was Cucurella, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And he had Cucurella on strings. Cucurella was struggling.
Yeah,
but there was maybe a reason for that. Then last season it was Caicedo, if I remember correctly. Caicedo was kind
of shadowing a little bit, but and helping out. So I'm curious to see how you guys choose.
We do have players that can put in a shift,
and it's going to be a team defense, right? I don't think you're going to have 100%. One guy just focus on Haaland.
Yeah.
Because what I like that Pep's doing is he's asking him to move. Like he's getting a little wider, especially if you guys tend to kind of press us. Now, if the reason why I say that it's going to be an up and down game, not to say that your defense is going to be leaky. I just think on how you guys are going to attack and how we're going to attack. I think we're going to have those opportunities, right?
Sure.
Every time I think about the possible outcome of this game, because we're at home, because we've been pretty clinical. Like even when it's PSG, my two goal scorers, like I can't ignore that. I know Grealish probably isn't starting this game, but when you got Haaland that's able to do his thing, and he he sees like the net is wide open right now. I think he sees the net and he's like, I'm scoring. I'm more confident in my scoring than Chelsea's, but the player that I'm most worried about because of how weak I am in the midfield is Cole Palmer. So I don't know why we won't have an answer for him, and that's why I kind of think I would like, even though he's just going to be putting in the dog work, I would like a Bernardo Silva in that midfield just kind of like as a nuisance, just as like a supportive, because I don't think Cole's going to be isolated on either side. Like I think he's going to be moving all over that pitch, being involved. And Bernardo's been given that license in possession and out of possession to be that for us. I need the win. I think I need the win more than you.
No.
Whoa.
We're not doing this. I need the win more than you.
No. Have you seen my upcoming fixture list?
Have you seen what you've done in the last 4 years?
Have
you seen where my team was last year?
What?
Have you seen where my team was the year before?
Why are we talking about previous years? Why are we doing that? Why are we
have you seen how much money you spent this window?
I didn't spend anything in the summer.
I need Champions League money.
I didn't spend anything in the summer.
What do you? Yeah, because that's your manager's fault. Your manager was like confident that retirement home Kevin De Bruyne.
Oh no! See, now you're getting disrespectful. Don't do that. He's not at
retirement home Kevin De Bruyne, wheelchair walker, and who else is in that team? Old man Gundogan.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Like Marlboro Pack Gundogan over there.
Part of my summer signing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then barely on strings Rodri. You thought that was good. Pep, not you. You probably did too, by the way. But Pep thought that was enough to get him through the season. And he never reinforced or bolstered. Now you're fixing up the mistakes and spending, 120 mil in a January window, which when my club spends 200 and something mil, it's, wow, Chelsea, you're breaking transfer window. But when City does it, who cares?
Because you do it every window, though.
No, we don't. It was one window. We bought Enzo Fernandez and a bunch of players. We haven't done that since.
You bought Enzo 100-something. You bought Caicedo 100-something.
That was in the summer.
Lavia.
That was also in the summer.
Okay. So when you spend in the summer and I don't, I spend in January. And you're
not.
I'm
not saying you can't spend. Spend all you want. You have the Champions League money to do it. And you've won the Premier League X amount of times. You got that money. You won X amount of times. You won the FA Cup. You've got money. You got money to spend. I'm a broke bitch out here, bro. I was in 12th. I lost a lot of revenue from broadcasting. I just looked at the money we lost from broadcasting revenue because we're not in Europe.
That has nothing to do with why this is a must-win game more for City than it is for Chelsea.
It's a must-win because I need to be in top 4. I'm sorry, sir. I need to go back to Europe because I let you guys do Europe and you're letting me down. Liverpool, good for them. Good for them. They're doing a good job. But
come on, Marshall.
Don't do this. Don't do this. I'm not. You know that's not Europe. You know that's not Europe. You know exactly what I mean by Europe. Ain't nobody watching the Conference League. Do not sit here with a straight face and tell me you look forward to watching Shamrock Rovers versus Fiorentina.
No, I don't.
Exactly. Nah, dude. I need proper UCL football. I miss watching the UCL. I miss watching football on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
You gotta
sit here and watch it on Thursdays.
You got 2 points. You got 2 points on
whatever.
Chelsea are at 40 points. City are at 38 points. All right. I don't think a draw does us any good, right? Because there's no positional change. You got to draw or I got to draw. And the teams behind us, right? Newcastle, Bournemouth at 37 points.
Yeah, it's
Newcastle
dangerous.
38.
This table is crazy. This season is crazy.
So a win. It's a must. I think it's a must win between the two of us. I'm currently 2 points behind you, so that's why I'm saying it is more important for me to win this game than it is for Chelsea. And then when I look at the fixtures upcoming for City versus Chelsea,
what are your upcoming fixtures? Actually, I'll look it up.
It's a madness.
You can actually tell me, and I'll look at mine.
Yeah, I'm saying so.
Mine do get harder.
Listen, I play you on Saturday, okay, And then 4 days later on Wednesday, I play another must-win in Champions League, the proper Champions League, like the proper UCL. I have to play Bruges, Club Bruges, and it has to be a win. If I win, I
you have no
then
choice.
play in the playoffs. All right.
3
days after that, or 4 days after that, I play on Sunday versus Arsenal away.
Yeah, actually, you do have a tough run of fixtures very, very soon. Actually, my tough run doesn't start until maybe mid-March.
So I don't want to.
Before international break.
Blue Brother, we're both fighting for top 4. I need this one. Well,
you're gonna have to take it because my team ain't gonna just bend over and just give it. You know, we're not just gonna sit there.
I understand that, and as we talk
roll
about
out the red carpet for Vader games. Yeah, Vader, here, take your 3, take back your throne. Remember when you came into my stream with your throne and everything? Yeah. Where'd that go? Now it's a porcelain throne.
I was sitting in the throne. Technically, I'm still defending.
Yeah, you're right. You're still defending. Yeah.
I was sitting in the throne when I was obviously at max confidence. I'm not dealing with the injuries of this season. I'm not dealing with, quote unquote, you talking about retirement versions of my players. I wasn't dealing with any of that. But I do.
At one point, you were in a cardboard box, man. It was rough.
Exactly. I remember
win in 11. That's rough, man.
I remember how this season was. I want to talk about this real quick as well. And thank you, everyone. Reminder: hit the like button, subscribe. You're part of the show with the comments. We're keeping the conversation flowing, but we do see your comments. Thank you so very much. I want to ask you this, and again, we're probably going to speak for another 10 minutes here, but manager confidence. I know I asked you earlier without hesitation, without any hesitation. You're like, I'm calm. I'm cool with Maresca. I want to ask you, going into this game, I know there's no Maresca out. You're not doing any of that. But going into this game, the form that you've seen, his decisions, his subs, his starting 11s, where's your confidence at with regards to him going into this game?
So using the first game as a reference, I think Chelsea did have a good performance, but it just wasn't ready. Like the system wasn't ready. It was still, you know, when you make cookies, you shape them up, and
yeah,
we're
he's
still in the
refining.
shape. You know, we weren't in the oven yet cooking. Now, you know, we're still in the oven, but we're baking and we're edible at least now. Like there's something there. It's not perfected, but it's something there. And I got to give Maresca a lot of credit for having expedited this process as quickly as he has, which is very impressive on his behalf, considering he's an inexperienced manager. In terms of the one deficiency that he seems to have, well, there's a few, but one of the ones that has been, in my opinion, hurting him a lot is his trust in his bench. Very much like your manager, which is why I look at you a little funny when you're saying your manager's going to give these youngsters and these new signings a shot based on what? He never really has. He's always mostly relied on his experienced players, and he'll bring in like a Rico or he'll bring in an Oscar
with you
Bob.
Talking about your manager. Now that you're bringing up mine and you're trying to point out, he does give the youth a shot. Now, if you're talking about does he repeatedly give them game after game? No, but he will give them a shot, and he again, he'll encourage them to test the grounds, but he also doesn't want to crush them. I think he does give these new signings. Now, the confidence level for me and Pep is a questionable one. I don't doubt him.
Interesting.
I don't I don't doubt what he sees on the training pitch, how he makes his decisions on who's going to be the starting 11. But I do kind of wonder on the amount of trust he gives the players in game to maybe even prevent an error. I know sometimes you can't foresee what a player's going to do, but sometimes it's like, you know what? You've been so good for an hour. You've given me 60 minutes, 65 minutes. Let me save you from yourself. Let me sub you off because
I see what you're saying.
you know what I mean. Like some of those things, I'm kind of.
It's kind of the opposite with Maresca, where
Mm,
for example, Wolves was the first time Cole Palmer was subbed off. And he was probably subbed off because of fatigue, right? Because he's played the most minutes of anyone in the team, I'm pretty sure, up there with Caicedo.
okay.
And he just looked knackered after a while. Like, just take him off. It brought him off around the 80th minute and brought on João Felix. And the complaint with Maresca is that he doesn't trust his bench enough to give them a significant amount of time to make an impact in the game. And that was something that wasn't an issue early in the season. But I think after that December period, I think that you saw a change in how he started to manage in game, and you started to see a change towards being more conservative, relying on his starting 11 up until they just can't do it, and making substitutions way too late in the game, to the point where these guys don't really have much time to make an impact. That's how you get the disgruntled Nkunkus. That's how you get the disgruntled rumors of like Felix leaving and all this stuff, because these guys aren't getting enough minutes. There's no Conference League happening right now. There's no, FA Cup, Carabao Cup happening. But it's one of those things that lately, when he does make the subs early, it has paid off. He has made some subs early, and it's like, oh, look at that. That player that you brought on, Reece James against Bournemouth, for example, had enough time to warm up into the game, takes the free kick, we get the equalizer.
Okay.
If you had not done that, maybe he doesn't get to that point.
Fair.
You know? So it's the opposite of what you're saying with Pep. Like, Pep keeping, taking players off a little earlier than maybe you would want to let them cook, see what they can do, versus my manager keeping those players on, knowing full well they're not, you got to take them off. They're not having a good performance.
Yeah. I mean, this game, in terms of like versus Chelsea, it's always a big one though. Like I think ever since that Tuchel run with Chelsea, like Pep, I think puts it on the calendar in terms of like, we got to be dialed in. We got to, because I'll be honest with you, I think since Tuchel, not that we've won every time we faced you, but we haven't lost, right? Like there's been draws, and so
we clapped you guys 3 times in a row, and then after that, the next season he was like, "This ain't happening again."
Yeah, he was like, "Let me do as much as I can to get."
I feel that you guys almost made like a statement to like, we can't let you guys beat us again.
We can't have that, and hopefully that was part of the domino effect of why you guys chased Tuchel out there. But I think, I think both managers are going to be highly motivated, because then there's also like, the Pep kind of like disciple, facing each other type thing. We have not been good against the top 6, top 7 of this league. Like honestly, like we struggle in these games.
I would say more in general, like the top 20, really. I would say you guys have been struggling.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're currently 5th, you're 4th. So I think I'm seeing, I don't know if you want to give a score prediction right now, but every time I think about this game, I think of goals, and I think 3-2. I think 3-2 City. No one's going to be bored watching this game. You guys are boring when you play like a United, or you play, even when you played Liverpool. Like you guys have some boring games, but I think versus us is going to be an entertaining one. I really hope for no yellow card type drama. I don't need any of that. Like
players close to suspension.
No, I mean just like I don't want like a questionable Caicedo, call to like disrupt.
Oh, you don't want.
I don't. I want it just to be. I want this just to be like
a clean fight.
Clean, yeah.
I
Clean battle.
don't think that's gonna happen.
I'm gonna say this to everybody in the chat. It was the last topic. I'm not gonna move things along. But you got to subscribe. You got to like. You got to share. You definitely have to make sure those of you, Vader Games TV, those of you that follow, and even if you're watching this on the playback, make sure you go over to Casual FC Great channel. Marshall, great guy. Go and subscribe. Be a part of the show. Listen, the conversations over at Chelsea, they're unique ones. All fan bases are pretty unique, but when you go over and you listen in, you kind of like you're a fly on the wall, and you're hearing some of the convos that these Chelsea fans are having entertaining. They are very entertaining. And if you didn't notice, Marshall, aka the soundboard, great timing. The man has great comedic timing. So please go over there, subscribe. We must talk post game. I'm gonna leave it on you to decide on how we do that. But we will have to talk post game after the match, win, lose, or draw. So I'm gonna leave that with you. Subscribe to his channel so you know of when that goes down. Follow him on Twitter X as well, because I believe your handle is the same. It's Casual FC.
Yeah,
is it not?
Casually FC. Yep.
Casually FC on Twitter X. Make sure you're following. And I want to say this, man. Thank you so very much for this preview. Of course,
dude. I actually was really excited for this because it's not very often we get to talk one-on-one, Vader. And I wish we could do that more often because I do genuinely enjoy my conversations with you, even though you do try to gaslight me. But regardless, our footballing conversations are fantastic ones. And if you guys haven't done so already, like I said before, and like he said just now, if you're watching here on Vader Games or if you're watching here on Casually FC, subscribe to Vader Games TV. There's a good channel here. Let's get him to 1,000 subscribers. It's been a grind, but my man is always putting out the content. He's one of very few Man City content creators out here. So you gotta show love for the few that you got.
There's a lot out there. There's a lot out there. I mean, yeah.
You don't sound very confident saying
There are a lot of. I mean, the numbers aren't mad like the other fan bases, but there are a lot of City fans out there. I'll also point out, last thing, these two guys that I had on screen. If you were to place a bet, biases aside, who's having the bigger impact? I'm not goals, not assists. Who do you think is going to have the bigger impact to how the teams defend or play against in the game?
Palmer.
All right. I happen to disagree. I think there's going to be a tremendous focus on your end with regards to Haaland, but we will have that conversation post-match with Casually FC. My man Marshall, thank you so very much. Enjoy this outro.
Pleasure.
And please, all the comments, much love. Good looking out. Enjoy this outro and catch us next. We're out.